Spooky season is finally upon us, and I thought the best way to celebrate this was to share a bunch of Halloween themed builds and contraptions that I've made. And to kick things off, we have something very special. I built my own version of the LEGO set Adventures in Transylvania by Sleepless Night, featuring a very spooky castle inhabited by mysterious and dangerous creatures. There's a link in the description if you want to see the original, but sadly, this set is not available anymore. So if you did not get the chance to buy it already, building it in Minecraft might be the next best thing. As a LEGO set, it has an open form and a closed form. In Minecraft, the closed form made the most sense, but it would not be that complicated to move things around if you prefer it open. Now this will not be a block-by-block tutorial, but instead I will be showing each part and explain my thought process. But before we do that, let's talk about the block palette. Most block choices were very obvious. Red nether bricks were the perfect fit for the red brick walls, and so were blackstone for the trims and deep slate for the stone base. For the blue roof, blue terracotta was not a perfect fit, but it was still the best option when considering the general style of the castle. Same for the broken shingles. Crimson and warped signs and buttons were not a perfect fit, but still worked best. And for texturing, I used tuff with deep slate, as well as netherrack and ward blocks with the red nether bricks. Now let's look at the entrance. At first, I tried to avoid building on a diagonal considering Minecraft's geometry, but when I gave it a try, it ended up working out very well and ended up giving us some results we couldn't have gotten otherwise. It starts with these bent stairs with a short tunnel underneath, and climbing up those stairs leads you to a heavy door halfway opened, kind of inviting you in while still feeling like something's wrong. But we won't go inside today. Going up the tower, we see one of the main differences with the original, as we have given it one more floor. It felt more balanced and made it easier to connect everything together. Bamboo trapdoors worked great for the golden grid windows, and other than that, it just follows the same palette as the rest of the castle. The tower also feels a bit rounder than the original, but I'll just take that as a bit of creative freedom on my part. This front wall has a large window with heavy bars, which is black in the original, but to add a bit of color and avoid using black stone everywhere, I decided to use nether bricks, which conveniently allowed us to build these bars by alternating between walls and fences. For the bottom part, I added walls and stairs to make these slits and add some shape to the whole wall. This side wall has a balcony also built out of nether bricks for the same reason as stated before, and there's also this small side tower, this one built out of tuff to make it look a bit lighter than the base, and since there's no way to get in, I filled it with black concrete powder to make it look dark inside. I also made the bottom and the top pointy with some blackstone walls, but since it's an even build, the pointy bits had to be off-centered, but it still works. This back wall has a huge window. I used the same design as the front window, but made it bigger with more pointy bits on the sides. On this corner, there's a large open tower, basically just made out of blackstone walls with some pointy bits made out of nether bricks. With the limitations of Minecraft, it was especially hard to keep with the design of the roof, but with some well-placed walls, slabs and stairs, I think we got something that gives the right effect. And this wall is the only one that we don't really see in the original, so I just filled it with red bricks and blackstone lines. And finally, the roof. The crenellations alternate between full blocks and walls with stairs on top of the blocks to make them feel pointier. We used blackstone pressure plates to help cover the red blocks that were still visible. For the slanted parts of the roof, it's blue terracotta with signs and buttons going from warped on the lower parts to crimson on top. And on top here, there's this little thing. That's a gargoyle, and it's adorable, and I won't hear otherwise. And the last floor of the tower is covered in cobwebs, and it seems to be housing some kind of enormous spider, so maybe it's a good thing we can get in. Now, sadly, we won't go inside the castle today. That's way too scary for me, but maybe later I'll be brave enough to visit it. See you then!